Karibuni, boys, let's chat. Auntie Riz open mic. We are here today. This is our maiden show, so I'm so glad to be here. I'm so happy to start to interact with you. I know you have begun to view the premiere that we had shared. A lot of exciting guests are lined up. Tunataka kujua ni nini nasumbua boy child, but most importantly tunawezaje kusaidia boy child a level up. Ningependa kuintroduce Marv, anaitwa director Marv. So wacha ajiintroduce, anatuambia anafanya nini, and then we get to it. So karibuni, but as we start, I'd like to request that you please subscribe, like, and share this video so that it can reach as many people. We've already started getting a lot of feedback. Tunaambiwa, oh, Auntie Ri, please talk about alcoholism, talk about, you know, so we are getting feedback and we are very happy. So please share, talk about this channel to your friends so that the more we add, the merrier, so that we can have deep conversations. So Marv,
boys, let's chat. Yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Sijui uko wapi, I don't know where you are watching us from, but karibu sana. Auntie Ri, thank you, it's a pleasure. Nilikuwa nimewaambia last time sitakuwa kwa hii set tena, lakini hey, this world is tricky. I'm back again.
Pressure.
And I have to talk.
Yeah.
Niambie, what are we talking about today?
They keep saying, generally children need to have their parents to grow up confident, secure, but they always keep saying there is a boy child cannot grow without a father or a father figure. So topic ya leo ni father figure, Buddha.
Yeah.
So nataka utuambie Marv, kwa opinion yako, ni important, ni lazima, ama what do you think? Ndio nikuulize, how has it been?
This one is going to be I don't want to call it controversial, but each and everybody, boy child, when you're up in, they have their own opinions. Either it is because of character or the upbringing or the type of fathers they have. When it comes to me, personally, I will say I grew up with a present, absent father.
Hiyo ndio kusema?
Well, you know, there is having a dad and having a father.
Yeah.
I love my dad so much, don't get me wrong. I look like my father. Sometimes my mom tells me, you even laugh like your dad. Even your talking is like your dad. Now, let me give you a backstory. Growing up, we are 4 boys in our family. You know, life gets lifing. Mom and dad, I think, ilifika mahali, you know, life just gets funny and they went their separate ways. So my father and I, we had a very rough relationship. Wanasemanga fali wawili hawezi kaa kwa nyumba moja. Yeah, it's true. Growing up, mimi ndio yule mtoto kwa nyumba. One, I'm cheeky, stubborn, not rude, and you know, I'm just like all over. Yeah, I want to know this, I want to know that, I want to know this. And my dad ni yule mtu wa, I've said do this, don't go there. Me, I want to explore. My dad doesn't want me to explore, so it was always tensional. My dad angeingia kwa nyumba, if I was in the living room with other people, I would go sleep. Actually, there was a time in primary, I did drama in primary, and there was this skit we were doing for a competition, drama festival actually, and it was a Swahili one, and it had a stanza, and it said, leo mtanitambua kuwa mimi ni simba wa mtaa. Hey? So I kind of looked at the way that script was flowing, and it was just like, this is my dad. Yeah. Because one, when you grow up, there are things you come to realize. A parent behaves like this, it's not their fault at times. It's because they also had issues growing up. They also had absent fathers, you know?
Yeah, most of the time, yes.
True. So I came to understand that after quite a long time. I want to say fathers are very important in the upbringing of a boy child and the empowerment of a boy child. Ask me why.
I think generally both parents are very important in the upbringing of children, but of course, like I said at the beginning, there's always the comparison of a boy child and the father.
True.
Give me your side of the story. Like, why do you think? I mean, because lately we also see a lot of conscious single parents. A lady decides, you know what, I'm gonna have my child and I'll raise them.
Yeah.
Are they at fault? Kuna makosa wanafanya ama uko mbele there'll be a problem?
When it comes to parenting, my mom, I think I may raise his boys, I will say single-handedly, 90% of the time. I don't want to go deep into my upbringing and everything, but it reaches a point when I look at my mom and I'm like, wow, she has been my father and my mother at the same time. Whatever happened, yeye na daddy on mambo yao, they'll sort it.
Mambo ya watu wazima.
Mambo ya watu wazima usiingilie. But when it reaches a place yenye mtu anasema, I don't need the father, you know, like nowadays, you know, you get pregnant, lady gets pregnant, anaanza kusema, oh, baby daddy. People are embracing this thing called baby daddy and baby mama. I don't like that. Let's stop being stupid. I call it stupid.
But now, what exactly do you think is the biggest role of a father in the life of his sons?
A father is a role model to their sons. A father is the number one role model. Whatever happens in the life of a boy child goes hand in hand with how the father is expressing love, is showing concern, you know. It circles around the way a father behaves. I want to say this, wherever I am.
Just hold kidogo. What happens in a situation where, and that's a good thing, that's on a positive side, where maybe the father yuko ni mtu wa career, ama ni profession flani, ama anachapa job yake tu, you know, whatever it is that he does, and the boys see it and they really want to be like him, or they believe it pays to work hard. But also on the other hand, there are those fathers
that are not,
who are, the boys just see them bashing the mom, sitting reading newspaper, not doing nothing. So I still don't understand how much importance it is to have a father.
It is very important to have a father while you're growing up, or even after you're grown up, because if anything happens to me, personally, things have happened to me and I've wanted to fall back to my father, but there wasn't that cushion to fall on, you know. So I had to rely on other gentlemen in life growing up. So there are things that we go through. I can't talk to my mother about them. How do I solve such things? You know, there are happenings in a boy's life. You can't talk to a lady.
In your opinion, I know you may not know this, Wesley, you're not a lady, but do you think girls have it easier to grow up without a father than boys?
I will say both sons and daughters need to grow up with their father, because at the end of the day, there is a different role for each and every parent when it comes to these two genders for kids. If you have boys and girls in the family, you will know as a father, this is the way I can treat this baby girl and this is the way I can treat this baby boy. And moso unaonanga male parents or fathers, when us sisi kama boys asikia kuwa mwanaume nini, there's just the way they want to mold you, you know, because they have gone through life, you know. Right now your son Iyad, you know, when they have a sit down with the father, there is a way dad will talk to Iyad and there's a way you will talk to Iyad. Maybe you can be softer because you're a lady, and the father will be hard because he knows kuna mahali nisipokuwa ngumu, this boy kitamramba.
Na sasa,
tell me,
in the very unlikely event the father passes away, and this household has 4 boys, 3 boys, 2 boys and a girl, or whatever the dynamics of the family, is it almost obvious that these boys are going to
fail in life?
No. Or does that mean that the mother must find another father figure, or can she step in?
Now, a mother will step up naturally. Naturally. I've seen my mother do that, and I've seen other single mothers do that. They step up naturally, and they now wanapunguza softness kidogo. My mom stopped being soft at hapo. I was like, kwani mamangu tena ameniruka?
Ama niko adopted.
Am I adopted? But then growing up, I had vague ideas about myself. You know, one, I look like my dad, but the way my dad treats me at times, it really looks like I'm not of this family. And you know, there's a way a boy will create survival mechanism in life. I created so many so that I could just grow up, because Mimi ndio nilikuwa napigwa nikaa na uwawa.
So Marv, ulikuwa ukiwa, as even as you're growing up, did you always have very candid conversations na your dad?
No.
You didn't?
My dad was not receptive.
Did that affect you?
It did, in a very big way.
And how has that impacted to who you are today?
Yeah, right now, if I had not had this conversation with other gentlemen, if I could not have sought out help in different ways, through talking, through Google, you know, sometimes Google helps with a few things. I could not be where I am right now. It reached a point in life I was like, Mimi, let me give you a story. I grew up in a hood called Kayole. It's not a bad hood. People say 1960 is bad. It's called Kayole 1960. Kayole is a very good place where it's just that things happen and life just becomes worse and people in the area just, you know. So in Kayole, the crime back then, 2007, when there was that post-election violence, it was bad, you know. There was the Mongiki issue, and then now after that, things calmed down, you know. And then there came a group called Gaza. What happened? These were just young boys who have just decided to become rude, you know. So personally, I did not know I had joined that group. I did not know, because in Anzanga ile ya kuja nikutume, somebody gives you 5 shillings, you know. And you know, me, I know my dad ni mkali, and I have found friends wenye wako receptive. I did not know I was being lured into something bad. So it's a very long story. I'm sure we'll have another set one day. We'll talk about that. Let me just finish. When I realized it is bad, it was too late, and it took the hand of God and my mother's grace to get me out of it. But they didn't, even they came to know about it years later, when psychologically it started coming up in high school, you know, because my dad is not receptive. I have to create an avenue for myself to be a man. I have to act in a certain way, so that one, I suppress my emotions. Something bad happen, najipa, you are a man, you can't cry in front of, you know. Yeah. So when now things started unfolding, like, you cannot always be a man. You need to break down. You need to forgive yourself.
And I think on that point, I just want to take a moment and say, there's no glory in being a man. You know, there's nothing fancy or masculine about being a man. Boys and girls are facing the same challenges. So there's no way that one gender will be told, man up, you know, just go out there and do it. You know, the boys also need to vent. They need to cry if they have to. They need to say when they it's too overwhelming, because that's when you do that, because everybody needs to vent out. So I truly agree that we are continuously telling boys, man up. Yep. Manning up is, even when you put air in a balloon, at some point it will burst. So we need to encourage boys to speak to each other, to their neighbors, to their friends, in the absence of fathers, to find people that they can trust, so that they can speak to, you know, and just diffuse some of the pressure. Yeah. Do you think the group that you joined, and I'm so happy to hear today that uliamka siku moja ukajua this is the wrong thing, you know, but do you think it was that because of how aggressive your dad is? And also, now to talk about it very generally, not you, do you think that sometimes fathers are too hard, too restrictive, too military, to a point that as a boy, because you're morphing into a man, you want to say, hey, listen, I'm also a man. So if you tell me A, I will tell you B. So do you think that sometimes it's getting back at him, so you build that rebellion?
Yes, I will say yes, and I will also say no. One, when I'm saying no, because we don't know how, most of us boys don't know how our fathers were brought up. Once you understand where your dad is coming from with the, let's say, bitterness, or let's say with the harshness, you'll now start connecting, oh, dad alikuwa anafanya hivi because hakupewa chance ya kufanya hii. I had to sit down with my grandfather one day and ask him, why is my dad very harsh?
Yeah.
He did not talk to me.
But they always say that was the way African children were raised.
Yes. And I want to
hardness.
kill that misconception. Hardness does not harden boys. The more you are hard on boys, the more you are destroying them. Vibaya sana.
So tunatakaje boys sahi wanatakaje what do you want
right now,
do you want to see more?
Right now I have a brother who I look at and I say, if I start behaving like my dad, he will not have that freedom ya kuniambia Mavo, huku shule nimepigana na mtu na unaitwa they need a parent. You know, mimi if I would fight with somebody in school, my friend niambie nilete mzazi, I'll either disappear or make sure I deal with the teacher or one-on-one. I will niambie mwalimu nipige or punish me because I know ikienda home
you're dead.
I'm dead. You know, so I want us to create a safe space for boys to communicate their feelings, their troubles. It's very hard. I told you on the other time when I was bringing up a learn about health, about Auntie Ree's open mic.
Yeah.
I lost someone because one, even though we were talking, there were really deep things
issues.
Yeah. So when I say yes, we need when I say yes, boys are being hardened to some extent. It is that a father has gone through life na ndiye afike mali amefika. He knows mtoto wangu, boy child wangu akipitia hii kona haitamfavor, but akipitia hii itamfavor. But at the same time, fathers, give your boys an avenue or some freedom for them to test A and B. You see?
And support them maybe.
Support them kidogo.
Yeah, kwa uko nyuma.
Yes.
And you say, you know, I see what you're doing, I'm observing. If you fall, I'll hold.
Yes.
If you make an error, I step in.
Perfect. If boys have more of that than...
But now there's another flip. They say if you're too soft, boys are naturally tougher than girls. Kichwa ngumu hapa na pale, we see it. I raise boys. So I know, especially when they're young, they have a stand and they stick to it.
Exactly.
So there's also the worry that if you also allow too much, you know, let him do and have free will to do what he wants when he wants to, si hapo mbele kutakuwa na shida.
True, there will be an issue because mtoto mleavyo ndivyo yako hapo. You can't just unaona mtoto anavunja meza and then you're like wacha huyu atakuwa fundi. You know, I hate that joke. If it is wrong, let the kid know it is wrong. Ati baba, mama, akifanya kosa si kosa ni kurudia kosa. You know, siwezi vunja meza leo, kesho utengeneze glass tena nivunje. You know, utakuwa ni kama sasa wewe kama mzazi hauko sawa. Because it is something that is repetitive. Kindly let the kid know hapa ni makosa for the first time. Warn him or her the second time. Ya tatu, please take action.
So what we're saying in the very unlikely event that the father is not in the picture, is it really necessary for the mother to find a father figure, or she's okay as long as she fits into that role and just directs her son? Now,
when worst comes to us and a male parent dies, I hate going towards that conversation because of I've seen my mom struggle with us. No, ndio nifike mahali nimefika, my mom has done a lot for us, you know. But she was hard. Now, hapo when it comes to matters of the heart, wewe unajua vizuri, as a lady, your husband has passed. It is upon you. This one I'm throwing it back to the mother in the picture right now. It's upon you, kuona, if you are able to accommodate a male figure again and present the male figure to your kids as a father. It is now upon you. But I would encourage, it is okay to remarry after you lose a husband. It is okay. We are in a world that is evolving. And you will find that that new dad becomes even more better than your husband. You know, life will give you lemons, make lemonade out of it. But if you are able to raise your boys with standards.
So mother at that point, a man up, raise boys.
You can
I want to just throw this back to our listeners, to those listening to us, to those watching us, and interact with us. Just tell us,
Yeah.
In your opinion, kwa opinion yako, you as a boy child, unafikiria life yako iko the way it is now because you had a father figure, or do you think you are what you are because you didn't have a father figure, and therefore what's your thought around it? I'd be very happy to hear from you, to just find out what's your take on this issue about having father figures, and especially in this era where we have a lot of ladies who are opting to raise their children as single mothers. But what's your thought to scare tuone is, you know, how is it out there?
Yeah, I wanted to say something else. It is also upon us, boy childs, sisi kama maboy, we need to observe, we need to angalia situation. You know very well, dada yuko, now you need to be the man of that house. When we talk about empowering men, it also needs to go back to teaching them to be observative. You need to be keen, lazima ukue sharp. You know very well, I started helping my mom na kubai vitu kidogo like mkate, maziwa. You know, the moment ushajua those small responsibilities, now you grow up knowing that kumbe inafanywaga hivi, like this and like that. Si ati ukipata 100 bob, you just use the whole of it on your things. Give back. I learned how to give back to my mom when I realized at a point she started developing blood pressure. I did not know. You know, mothers will hide things from their sons, and it's very bad. My mom hid a lot of things from me. We have never had that conversation because I found out on my own. You know, sometimes you find out things on your own and you're like, I'll not go into this. It is okay. Let me just handle it the way it is. So we boys need to empower, to have that self-consciousness, and to do we need to be, we are the, wanasemanga sisi ndio nini kwa society?
Backbone.
We are the backbone of the society. It is true. It's a very good statement. I like it. And as we are being empowered, we need to show up. We need to show up, by the way. We just, at you are the backbone of the society, and when malenge too. I hate it. I hate it when I go back home to my mom's, and the people I grew up with in the hood, interacted with, they don't look like we are friends. You know, your friends talk about how you are. Your friends are your reflection, you know. Ukitembea na mwizi utakuwa mwizi. If you work with people who reason, you'll be the person who reasons, you know. So wewe uko pale street, unaona mavua na kujanga na potea. You know me, they call me the tourist. I'm rarely home. I visit home once in a while. My mom calls me mtoto wangu mtalii. And I'm like, at a point, it has helped me escape from a lot.
Yeah.
I'm also throwing this back to the boy child back at home. Please, toka kwa hiyo circle. Get out of the hood. See how life is out there.
Do you think it's easy?
It's very easy.
Because we want to understand. Boy child sometimes anasema mi niko hivi because circumstances zangu were like this. You know, my father contributed to what I am today. Even your life yangu imetoka. But si nafikiri kuna second chance.
I would like to say, you are the author of your own life. You have the pen. And I actually want to say you have the pencil. Futa mali unaweza futa, rewrite. If I could say that, if I could just sit back and relax and say that, hey, Mimi, you know, Mimi, kwa kitabu, I was not that sharp. I was very good, but not that good for my dad. So when my KCSE results came back and we are seated at my grandpa's place and my dad saw the results, he uttered a statement that really shattered me. It broke me. Ilinivunja, like ile ni kuwa mtoto roho. My dad said, siezi uza ngombe kusomesha ngombe. So when my dad said that statement, I just felt like, well, Mimi, I can't go beyond this. I'll be a nobody. And that was the end of me. For 3 days, I was like, hey, I don't exist. Until my mom called me and told me, you know what? He has said that, it is okay, but you are my son. The Lord I pray to will not allow you to fail. And kidogo, I felt like, it makes sense. My mom told me, words should not bring you down. I've seen you survive this, I've seen you survive that, because my mom has walked with me through strange places, strange corners of life. And my mom has been, you know, if I could have sat back and said, Mimi ni ngombe, wawezi uza ng'ombe kusomeza ng'ombe. I will remain tu hapo kafala huko ushago sijui wapi huko.
I think
let me
that's
finish Antiri.
so critical.
Okay.
I just want to say something to
Please
the
do.
parents, especially the fathers, on just what you've said. You know, what you tell your children sometimes lives in them until their adult life. You must not destroy them by just the words. You know, not all children were A material. Not all children were the smartest crayon in the box. Not all children were just smart in the brain. And therefore, I think it must be conscious, dear parents. We must be very conscious in what we tell our children, because when you label your child a failure, when you label your child a loser, or label your child hakuna mali utaenda, remember they are looking up to you. And when you tell them they are a loser, it starts to build up in them. And then they say, mimi ni loser tu, hata baba yangu anajua.
Yeah.
Let's be very careful.
Let's be very careful with words. Words zinakata hata kushinda panga.
Yeah.
You know, so after that, I had that discussion with my mom, and my mom called my dad. My mom is ruthless with words. She told me, "Utaambia hivyo mtoto wangu, that is my son."
Yeah.
And they had an argument, and it resulted to my dad forcing a career on me. My dad said, with these results, I wanted to do something in mass media production. My brother and I, my big brother and I were like, when we were growing up, my brother will tengeneza a microphone in TV kabox, and he will be like an present news. That used to inspire me. And I was like, I can always be the man behind the camera. Now you see where my career, what I'm doing right now came from.
Niliwambia ni director Marva.
Yeah. So I told my dad, please, hata kama nikosia certificate, just nipige tunayo, and then you leave me.
Yeah.
My dad said, no. Utafanya electrical engineering. Oh God, I was never good with numbers. Electrical engineering is numbers. So it took me to a polytechnic. Year 1, year 2 haikuisha. We had issues with him, and then he stopped paying fee. It's because attachment nilikuja Nairobi, went to see my mom, they're not in good terms, and then he's like, I'm dissolving you.
Yeah.
And then mimi I am someone, since my dad told me siwezi uza ng'ombe kusomeza ng'ombe, I've always been telling myself, yo, when ni champe, that can never be it. So I started pushing myself toward whatever I wanted in life.
Yeah.
I loved making films. I loved acting. So I always be like, if I can't be in front of the camera, I can't be behind it. So I met someone who's doing photography. We did photography for a while, and then I said, this is a craft. Now I started mentoring myself in other craft. I'm self-made. I never went to school to do film, to do editing, to do anything I do. So
yours is an interesting story, because against all odds uliamua kivyako.
Yes.
Mimi sitakuwa what I was told, but more than that, I'll make myself. But what would you tell some vijana wengine who wamebaki kwa ile sorrow na miserable, enye maybe baba yake alimweka na akamwambia you're not going to be anything more than this? I want to tell them that one, you have to break the mental shackles. You need to get to set yourself free from those chains. Kwa sababu many youth when you are going to drugs wanaonanga it's a comfort. It is not a comfort. Correct me, throw your comment hapo chini about that statement. We'll have a discussion about that very soon. I want to say this, no situation is permanent in life. So you can turn around your life. You can turn around tables. So all you need to do is just be very conscious and be turn focused around and say, you know what, this is what I want and I'm going for it. Yes. My mom will see me, you know, umetoka kwa nyumba, you're still in your mother's custody. Umetoka kwa nyumba ujambia mama unaenda wapi, hauna simu, and then you sleep outside. Hey, as a Kenyan mom, bana, you know that is a crime. So I will get back home to asubuhi ama nipate hayuko ama kuja nipate ikue kesi. I will just let my mom rant. But then I came to realize I can't tell my mom, I can't explain. I have never known how to explain myself, because when growing up and my dad was like, you can't talk when he's talking. So even expressing an issue that is burning you was difficult, and up to date, even expressing feelings is an issue. So I'm like, I can't start explaining to mom. So let mom think what she wants to think. In the future, she'll see results. And I tell God, don't fail me until mama one results. Nowadays, nikikaa chini natumia Madhengi Ritano, she's like, thank you.
you know. But I don't even want to tell her those days I used to potea. This is what I was doing.
Naenda kuhustle ama kujifunza.
Sometimes bro, hapo kuna nisikiza, we chill and do your own stuff and make sure ni kitu constructive, because at the end of the day utaanza kujipima, because we grow up na tuna drift. Our friends uko nao saizi, kila mtu ako na chapter yake ya life. Let me just be honest about this. The people I grew up with, there are some wamekufa because of 1, 2, 3 and there are some tumesonga na then wengine wakadisappear, and right now I only have one person I know tumegrow up na yeye hadi mali tumefika saizi. We do talk about life and then the other one left us the other day, you know. So we will not be here forever, and maybe tomorrow utasikia I'm outside the country or nitasikia uko outside the country. It depends. Juu utaanza kuona Mavo alikuwa anatudanganya hapa, and no, do your due diligence and life will be fair to you. You also have to empower yourself. My take home from this conversation today is that boys also need to empower themselves, and society needs just to be a small push. You know, we are the backbone of the society. You can't be a backbone of the society when wewe mwenyewe, you know.
Parents, fathers, if you let your sons down, you're letting a whole generation, because not everybody gets out of it and decides, you know, I'm going to change my life around.
Not everybody.
Sometimes they wallow in how they grew up, and that's how we are continuously losing the boy child. And so please let us be conscious. Hakuna mtu alisema baba Mwafrika lazima akue kama jeshi. It doesn't mean that, you know, you're military, and, you know, perhaps that's how you saw your father grow up, or your grandfather, or maybe even you. But really, times are also changing. People, your sons want to have a little warmer conversations with you. So hawataki wakikuona ukiingia na mlango ya mbele wanatoka na ya nyuma. Ukizunguka nyuma anazunguka hivi. Ukitaka kula au wamelala. Blame yourself, because please remember that you might just be destroying a generation. So please, let's be very conscious. Let's create slightly harmonious homes where boys can grow. But even in the absence of fathers, boys, si ati lazima kukuwe na baba kwa nyumba. Inaweza kuwa out of circumstance, uko tu na mamako, ama father alipass away, ama, you know, life happens na hiyo sio problem yako, because life does happen. Please just remember you're a man. You stand for yourself. Listen to your mom. Just know that don't play victim. Usianze kusema mimi sikuwa na baba kwa maisha yangu, so ndio maana niko hivi. Like he said, sometimes it's a mindset. Change it and just decide, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this well. So it all starts with you. Kuna kitu nataka kumalizia nayo. Na siku hata Marvin hajakuwa prepped. Uko na dreadlocks.
I was coming to that.
So director, yuko na dreads.
Director kona dreads.
A lot of times ukiingia mahali ama ukikutana tu na mtu hivi, a man especially, girls who have dreadlocks wanaambiwa, oh, that's chic, that's nice, unakaa poa. But the moment people see a gentleman, a man in dreadlocks, kwanza kabisa wanastuka. They're like, okay, sijui ni cross barabara, sijui nipite, ama nishike handbag nishike vizuri, because mbona uko na dreadlocks? Na ushawahi go through hiyo?
Now, the first person who was against this hair is my own mother. Tuanzia hapo, ilianziaga nyumbani saa zingine, my friends. Let me tell you, my mother, na nywele mrefu adui. My father, na nywele mrefu adui. I wanted to drive away that misconception from both of them. Babanga alikuwa anasema hizi misumari kwa nywele sitaki. I'll not pay a school fees until you shave. I was like, what is the problem with the hair? Ni nywele inasoma ama ni mimi inasoma? This one is going to be a signature for my brand. One of these very fine days, I launch my brand, God willing, soon. It will happen. Let me tell you something. When it comes to hair, I don't know what happened with the dreadlocks. Kila mtu aka criminalize dreadlocks. You guys tell me, dreadlocks ziliwakosea nini? for me this is my hair, I like it that way. Nikitaka kunyoa pia nitanyoa.
Lakini kumaanisha si ati mtu akiwa na dreadlocks,
mtu akiwa na dreadlocks is not a gangster. Si gaidi. Didn't you see the other day a Rastafarian was inducted into the bar. So anasemanga amekuwa kwenye bar. He's now a lawyer. Now why can't I have my dreadlocks?
So tuache ku stereotype.
Let us acha tu
mkitembea town na muone mtu ako na dreadlocks na anatembea, please don't cross the road to the other side, don't hang on to your handbag.
Jamani,
at the end of the day ni fashion tu, ni fashion. Na boy child anasema kwa nini mwache kumdiscriminate akiwa na dreadlocks, yet wasichana wakikuwa nayo wanaambiwa wako sawa.
Mbona msichana ananyoa haitwi gaidi?
Haitwi gaidi.
Tuanzie hapo wadau. Tuanzie hapo wadau.
Ni fashion.
Let's talk about something else even before we end. When it comes to fashion. Unajua, we're living in a world that's evolving. You know, right now unapita hapo tao, unaona mtoto hata 2 years, pigwa locks kwa nywele. You know, life is all about how you embrace it. For me, I will not judge you kama umeshuka lines and you're a gentleman. I don't know what's happening to this society. I'm going to embrace, you know,
unataka tukue less judgmental.
Jamani, judgmental. Let's cut that thing. You know, unaona tu mtu ushaanza. You remember he had case na hyperthyroidism. If you have not watch that story under Health Talk Desk hapo YouTube and watch Yard story. You know, mtu anaangalia tu Yard because the eyes are bulging out na anasema huyu lazima ako kwa miadarati. You know, some things are conditions. You know, mimi kwanza the reason why I have dreadlocks is that my hair, nywele yangu iko na shida. In fact, I locked my hair because what? My hair huwezi chana na ichanike.
Wewe hakuna haja ya kuchana Marvin. Wewe ni kijana, nyoa tu, wewe ni kuoga na kutoka. Kuoga. No, kuweka dreadlocks ni sawa, lakini usipatie kuiweka as a fashion statement is perfect.
It's very perfect.
Lakini usianze kutuambia ati nywele na cause wanaume sinaambiwaga ni kuoga na kutoka.
Unampanga tu asubuhi unapanguza hata saa zingine na umeenda umesahau nywele. So ndio keep kwa line flani. I hate to learn to lock it. That there's a times nilikuwa refu zinakunya and I shaved. I still looked neat, you know. But now unapata people are just stigmatizing dreadlocks for nothing. Achaneni na watu wa dreadlocks. Those people are wise in their own way.
Tutawa treat different. We're gonna treat you different.
Na yangu nimelock.
I think it's a wrap for today, and I think we couldn't have put it in any better words. Fathers, you play a very important role in the lives of your sons. You mold them, you shape how they think. Please engage with them a little more. I think we can't say this any more than we already have. Please ask your friends to subscribe, to like, to share. Bring in more people. We are going to have very, very many guests on the show. Interesting stories. Zile stories zina touch boy child. Because at the end of the day, tunataka kujua, what is it? Kuna shida iko wapi? You know, when we were premiering, I got a message that said, Antiri, hii show ni nzuri sana. Because, ebu sisi pia to level up. Because, itakuwaje now all these girls watakata tuwaoe, and then what happens?
My question is, my question has always been, you're empowering the girl child and forgetting to teach the boy child how to live with an empowered girl child. You know, it's unapata, by the way, you know, the things that are happening right now in Kenya, they're very sad.
Hiyo ni topic nzito
sana.
Hiyo topic tutarudi tena, because we'll even have panelists to discuss how do we get the boys to level up. And please don't get this wrong. We're not saying we are shifting focus entirely, or we are scaling up the boy child. Because at the end of the day, what we want is well-rounded adults.
Yeah.
Sio wasichana wako huku na vijana wako hapa na wajui what to do with these girls when they've been put, you know, at one place. So thank you very much for listening to us today. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Until the next one.